Hello everyone, Suzanne Ullman here, heart failure nurse, San Antonio, Texas, with my little caped crusader next to me, El Chapo Guzman Loera. He is sneaking a nap on the dog bed. He does that often in the daytime. So, I took some days off to gather my thoughts because I feel like there's been a bit of an assault on science, and I've just about had it, to quote my Aunt Irene. I also think there's a little bit of an archaic view of who nurses are. Now, I'm not accusing anyone or naming any names, but I think that people don't realize that when you assault science and you call things that are true or are facts fake in the context of a public health disaster like COVID-19, you are debilitating the ability of nurses and firefighters and paramedics and doctors to do their jobs because people stop believing that their jobs are important and that their experience is real. I thought I'd tell you a couple of things. Number one, I had to take a lot of damn science to become a nurse, okay? I had a bachelor's degree in music, which means I took une science class. One in 4 years of college at St. Olaf. God bless. I was very music focused then, okay? So to get into nursing school, to even apply, I had to take a lot of science, including chemistry, including microbiology, which I actually really loved, including 2 semesters of anatomy and physiology, which I also loved. And actually chemistry wasn't so bad because I had a goal in mind, and I knew that if I understood chemistry better, I would understand patients' labs better, which is something a nurse spends a lot of time reviewing. And it's often up to the nurse to notify a physician if a patient's labs are out of whack and they need an intervention, both inpatient and outpatient. So don't call stuff fake news. That's science. You're insulting nurses, and we don't get paid that much. We just really do what we're supposed to do. And you put on these, vests and go and protest. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. This is not political. This is public health. This is why I changed my entire trajectory of my life. I was living in New York City. I was working at the Juilliard School when we got attacked and the towers fell and the earth was covered in dust and the fog of thousands of people. I decided that maybe being a professional singer wasn't enough for me. It's great for a lot of people, but I felt so lame not being able to offer one skill in the midst of that time after 9/11. See, Chapo thought I got a little too enthusiastic, and he's moved. So it's 9/11 that turned me into a nurse, and it took 4 years for me to make that transition from full-time musician working in arts administration. I took a little side trip to rural India to figure out what public health was like in a third world country where there are still people with polio and malaria and all kinds of things, because not everyone has access to health care. Not everyone has access to basic vaccines. Some people don't even access to food and water. So that's real. That's something that I did to prepare for nursing here. And as a nurse, I'm constantly evolving in my scientific knowledge. For instance, almost 4 years ago, I transitioned from the bedside to an outpatient cardiology nurse. And now I specialize in heart failure, which means I had to take a deep dive into the plumbing, the electricity, the valves, the chambers, the flow, the backflow of the human heart. So, yeah, I look at vital signs. Yeah, I call and I talk to people and I relate with them and I listen to them. But I spend a lot of time figuring out what mitral valve stenosis means for the filling pressures of the left ventricle of people, and if we can increase their diuretics based on their kidney function. That is science. And the last thing I want to say before I step down off of this soapbox/dog bed with Chapo is that if you want to propagate hateful bashing of scientific facts, you need to direct that same mentality toward your own life and consider if it's right for you to be driving a motor vehicle, which would not exist without science, and if it's right for you to use indoor plumbing, which would not exist without science, and should you be taking all of the medications that you're taking, which are probably helping you live better, whether they're lowering your cholesterol or your blood pressure or helping your serotonin levels. You are able to get those prescribed to you and take them because of clinical trials, data, research, and the FDA. So that's just something I needed to say because we've hit a different pitch this week and the voices of conspiracy are louder and they got to me. And I had to say something in response. I hope you know that I do these because I care about you. Even if I don't know you, I care about your existence and your welfare. And this is a time where our voices of caring are actually the most important thing right now. Not politics, not conspiracy theories, and not fear. Okay? This is Chapo. This is Suzanne signing off for today. Thank you.